I want to pause and make sure we take inventory. We talked about inventions, large paradigms, trust, a trust gap, how we bridge that trust gap today with ledgers that we can tamper with, and now we're looking at a completely different ledger, one that is immutable, shared across organizations that operate on a specific chain, and now distributed. If you look on the left side of this chart, you see a state of commerce that uses ledgers that are tamperable, requiring intermediaries that own a centralized copy of it, that broker the relationship between those who are looking for trust and those who are looking to be trusted. And as a result, we live in this trust gap. On the right-hand side of this is a different view of commerce, a view of commerce where information can be trusted and available in real time. Now, I want you to think about this house that we were buying. Can you imagine if the information about the ownership rights of this house was written on a blockchain? How much time would that take out of the process to get the title information right? How much friction would it take out? And how much fraud would it take out? Much less the cost. This is the power of blockchain. Now, we saw that in the large paradigms that we looked at, we saw things like the printing press destroy those organizations that were only anointed with knowledge. We saw the combustion engine destroy things like colonialism and slavery. We saw the internet come in and destroy brick and mortar companies. What we're looking at today is a new invention called blockchain that changes the way we trust. And I believe trust companies are going to destroy, at a minimum, these intermediaries. We will simply trust in a different way. The human experience is going to change as fundamentally as it changed from the printing press, from the combustion engine, and from the creation of the internet.
I'll use my Slim Shady voice again. This is the official end of the simplification.
So where do we go from here? The reason why blockchain is so interesting to me, and why is it that I continue to study it and participate in it, is that that trust gap that we talked about is actually increasing. We are transacting with more things in more ways than we ever have. If you look at this concept of sort of zero trust and abundant trust, you can see that that need to trust is actually stretching out to the right. Today, you not only transact with human beings, you transact with machines. You transact with smart devices. And all of these things, we need to start to figure out how to trust them properly. Now, blockchain changes two other things that I'm particularly interested in. One is in the area of identity. And when I think about identity, I'm not just thinking about McLovin from Superbad. I'm not just thinking about this 24-year-old organ donor from Hawaii. I'm talking about the 12 million cases in the United States where there's identity fraud. That is the first area where the trust gap is expanding. The other area that I'm talking about is all the new devices that are coming online that we also have to trust, not just human beings. I think the last prediction that I saw was that by 2020, we will have 7 times more smart devices than we have human beings in the world. That's about 50 billion smart devices in 2020 that we will transact with, that we will have to trust. And this is what I mean by the trust gap is expanding. The other area where the trust gap is expanding is in reputation. When you talk about reputation, I'm not just talking about that phantom Yelp reviewer that you see that writes a restaurant about how there was 5 shrimp in the meal as opposed to 6 that was supposed to be there. I'm not just talking about those people. I'm talking about the 250,000 rides a day that's happening between Uber and Lyft. I'm talking about the 100,000 transactions on Etsy. I'm talking about the 150,000 rooms that are rented per night on Airbnb. These are all reputational opportunities that we continue to manufacture trust with our gut, putting ourselves at risk. This is what I mean by the trust gap is expanding. To the extent that when I think about blockchain, I don't only think about blockchain replacing intermediaries, I think about blockchain creating trust companies that will replace just about every company in the world. If there's one thing that you remember from this talk, just remember that I love tangerines. Now, I love tangerines, but I happen to have an allergic reaction to the chemicals that are put in non-organic tangerines. So every time I go buy tangerines from the store, or my wife buys them for me, we have to look for this little logo that says organic USDA certified. I don't know whether that tangerine company just got the logo off the internet by using Google search and printed it on the package or not. I have no idea whether the tangerines are organic or not. I just have to trust that they are. There's about 50 agencies in the United States that are certified to give you the permission to put the stamp on the package that you have organic tangerines. Now, I want you to just imagine the day when a tangerine company comes out and puts a QR code on the package, and I can scan that with my phone, and it opens up an app on my phone that shows me all of the transactions that happened in that tangerine farm, including all the chemicals that were applied to it, and it's running on a blockchain so that I know that I can trust it. Aha! Which tangerine would you buy? I can see it already. 20 years from now, I'll be remembered as the guy that said, aha, which tangerine will you buy? Obviously, a tangerine company running on blockchain would cannibalize any other tangerine company that's just claiming to be organic. That is the power of the distributed ledger. That is the power of having information that you know that someone did not tamper with, that you can actually trust without having to have an intermediary. The way I look at blockchain is that every company in the world today, not just the intermediaries, are at risk of having competition from a blockchain version of themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, we're at the ground floor of a new paradigm in humanity that will change the human experience called blockchain. The thing that is going to change is trust. It has been my absolute pleasure